15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the foot.
I read an article, Harsin plans on a lot of good versus good in the A-Day game.
Yeah, one-on-ones.
Yeah, ones-on-ones. Yeah. I love it. I think it's the greatest idea Auburn's had since firing Gus Malzahn.
Yeah, I mean, it's low expectations. You know, it's sad that we get excited for stuff like this because, you know, most teams do one-on-ones in practices, even if it's not just, you know,
a spring game.
Yeah, even if it's not just spring game, they go one-on-ones in practice, and that's very important to the development of the players.
Yeah, because you only get better when you play the best.
You know, I ain't played football since like 8th grade, and even I know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much common sense. You go versus the best, you become the best.
Right. The Geese moved to defensive line.
I'm so sad. I'm going to miss him lining up the quarterback.
I'm not.
But
I'm not. I'm going to enjoy him landing on quarterback.
Yes. The kid's a monster. One of the most freakish athletes actually on the team. He's 300 pounds and he can move very well. So I think that's really going to help him on the D-line.
Yeah. He got to learn how to use his hands, go back and forth with the offensive linemen. But, yeah, they said it so far it's been a smooth transition. Nick Eason working with him, teaching him how to do everything, teaching him how to place his hands, fight off blocks. You know, it's great.
I still hope we use him a little bit on offense, kind of like Mount Cody. Yeah. You know, as a lead blocker, maybe even give him one or two, like the refrigerator. Yeah. I call him the freezer.
The freezer.
Yeah, the kid is so athletic.
The young man.
The young man is so freakishly athletic. I hope I get to meet him if we go to the 8A game.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
I do too. Just, you know, say hey.
You're really big.
Yeah, you're freaking huge.
The dude,
you're a monster.
He's so fast. It's
to be
insane.
That big, yeah.
I think that'll really help him because, you know, our offensive linemen and a lot of offensive linemen are not that athletic, so maybe he can use his athleticism. Like Aaron Donald uses his speed burst to be able to get off a lot of blocks. So as long as he can get in the weight room and cut his body fat down a little bit, I think he'll be a monster. Nose tackle and not end. If we stay in a 4-3 not end, you know what I mean. Interior D tackle. He's very athletic for one of those.
Yeah. They held their second scrimmage of spring practice, and there was 3 to 4 turnovers in the game.
Yes. 2
of them the defense took back to the house.
I hope it's not just Bo being terrible again, but I think we'd have known that.
Yeah, I think it's just, you know, it's a lot harder on an offense to learn a new offense and just go out there and play. Defense, you know, you can go out there and do things a lot quicker than you can as an offense. I mean, we all know Derek Mason is still in the process of installing his defense. Yeah. But, you know, the basic concepts of defense is see ball, get ball.
Yeah. And as former linemen, we even know that.
Yeah. Whereas on offense, you know, you have different blocking schemes. You're going to be blocking different players. Routes, it's a big thing that I'm super excited about with the Harsin and Bobo regime coming in. You know, I'm super excited about a real route tree being run.
Yeah, finally.
You know, a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, but it just takes an offense longer than it does a defense, because you can, on defense, as long as you're lined up in the right spot, you know.
A lot of defense is more feel.
Yeah, using your eyes, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing a very good job of trying to get what I want to say out of my head to come out of my mouth, but anyhow, that's where I'm going with it.
I want our DBs flying around like freaking banshees. Because in football, you can have all the knowledge and the ability.
Right.
But if you ain't going 100%, you're going to get beat.
Right.
And on offense, obviously, Bo and Davis and Garnett and even Lloyd working to get the timing right. That's why a lot of backup quarterbacks, they get installed in the game, but they don't have the timing. No matter how much talent they have.
Right.
You got to have your timing down with these receivers, especially since they're very young receivers and they're finally being taught a proper route tree. Their eyes are opened up to a whole new world of football, whereas last year was kind of just like a read, slant, out, streak. Now it's a bunch of more combinations of routes, and Bo throwing to routes that some of them he hasn't seen since high school. And he's
if he saw them then.
Yeah, but I think he probably had more variety than with Gus last year.
Right.
But it's so much of the quarterback just mentally being prepared, and our defense doing some of the stuff that they did last year.
Right.
Obviously we have a new safety who hasn't played safety in a while, if he has ever played safety. But I'm glad to see our defense is getting up and getting around, and I hope that our offense just catches up eventually.
Right. Another thing is, I'm excited to see Mike Bobo, how he works with the talent we have at receivers. We got a little guy, Burner or two.
Yeah.
We got a big tall guy that's a 50-50 guy. I like to watch the game and see how these coaches scheme these players open. Not necessarily, that guy's just a great athlete and he can just get open. He can create separation.
Yeah, it's not
it's seeing how the scheme and the route gets them open.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot harder on the DBs for other teams now that we have a variety. The defenses, they could just read it last year. They obviously always knew, so it was Stove, Schwartz, and Seth Williams kind of fending for themselves to get open.
Right. Because if I never see another wide receiver screen from Auburn again, it'll be too soon.
Yes, it's every 3 or 4 plays you saw one.
Yes, I am so sick and tired of wide receiver screens and jet sweeps.
And they weren't even ran properly.
I am tired of wide receiver screens and jet sweeps. No more, please.
Especially since they were ran in such bad situations.
Yes.
It was 1st and 10, and it was a bubble screen.
Oh, and a sugar huddle.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm so over the damn sugar huddle.
It was cold first.
800 times.
Yeah.
But then you don't trick anybody. Everybody knows what's coming. Oh, they're 2 yards away from the football. Everybody clogged the middle of the field.
It would have been fine if it was like a 2nd and 7, we got a 6-yard game, and it was 3rd and 1, and we just went hurry up. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
But every down was a sugar huddle, unless we were coming out of a timeout. It was so ridiculous, the redundance of it. Every game was the same story. It was like a middle school football coach. If our plan A works, great. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Yeah. And you could tell when, especially with Chip Lindsey, you could tell when Gus took his hands off.
Yeah, and we were doing great.
But then, I don't know, because I don't know Gus personally. I don't call him up and be like, hey man, how's it going? So I don't know, but it looked like to me that, Jarrett Stidham's first year, it looked like we started having success. Bam, bam, bam. Chip Lindsey's putting in good game plan after good game plan after good game plan.
Everything was phenomenal.
And then we get to the SEC championship game, and it's like, okay, if you win this game with you running your offense, it's like I'm not needed no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to feel. Like he got jealous of the success that his offensive coordinator was having.
Yeah, you could see it from that perspective, and I honestly understand it. But I think Gus may have gotten nervous and he was like OCD about it. Like he had to have something to do with it because if it was out of his control, he lost, and it was Chip Lindsey's game plan, he'd have felt like he failed the team or something. Because that's what it seemed like. I don't think you're wrong, because it could have been that. It could have been just pure jealousy.
Yeah.
But it seemed like maybe it was just.
But we did lose.
Yeah, we did lose bad, terribly, and it was so bad because I felt terrible. Because then, when we went to the bowl game, Carry On's last carry as an Auburn Tiger was a fumble.
Yeah.
And it seemed like we failed it at that point.
Right.
And then the next year, we went to the Iron Bowl, and it's not good what Gus did because Ryan Davis just made that game. We lost, but Ryan Davis, he broke the receptions record within the first quarter. But I think it was just pure luck because it was bubble screen after bubble screen. I don't think he caught a pass past the line of scrimmage until second quarter, maybe.
Yeah.
And I know Ryan Davis, that's kind of his thing, but he could have opened up the route tree to him a little bit.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, is that was the route tree for Gus's system.
Yes, it was, unless it was a guy like Seth Williams.
I mean, he still runs the same routes. It's just every throw's a 50-50.
Yeah, but it's like you can run these three routes, and you're only going to run these three routes.
Yeah.
And then with Schwartz, it was goes, a couple slants, and a couple screens. And then
jet sweeps. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget the jet sweeps.
Don't forget the jet sweeps.
They worked his freshman year, but then they caught up to it.
Yeah.
And then Eli Stove, he's so talented. He's not very fast, but he's a very talented receiver. If he was in Alabama's system, they'd have molded him into a greater receiver than he is.
Yeah.
Now he's just a return specialist with screen ability.
Right. And see, another thing, I don't want to make it seem like I'm just hating on Gus, because there's a lot of colleges out there that don't have a big boy route tree.
Yeah.
Georgia really, I know they run a more pro style offense.
Yeah.
But they don't have a big boy route tree.
And it shows with the receivers.
They run some post corners, slants, like in the SEC championship game this past year. I believe it was the running back for Alabama, Harris.
Yeah.
I believe he run it was kind of like a hook and go. Like he run and started like he was coming back, like a hook route or a comeback, and then he cut it into a slant and scored.
Yeah, because
that's scheming your player open.
And that's a running back with more route running talent than any of our receivers have had.
Yeah. It was just it just blew my mind. I was like, I've been watching football, I'll be 40 this year. I've been watching football 28 years, and I watched it before then, but like really getting into football, like learning positions and players and what they're supposed to do, stuff like that. Roughly 28 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that I can recall that route from a college team.
Yeah, especially a running back who's 6'2", 225.
Yeah.
Occasionally you might see a Reggie Bush blow your mind with some crazy route.
Yeah.
But Najee Harris built like Derrick Henry in college. And that's what happens when you implement an offense that has such a variety.
Yeah, and I don't want to seem like I'm praising Alabama, but that was a very good, well-run, well-constructed play. Alabama's got their flaws. I heard Derrick Henry in an interview that he was like, I was told to hit this hole at Alabama, and I hit that hole and run over everybody.
That's basically what Mike Vrabel does, ain't it?
I think there's more to it in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like he's got to read.
Christian Okoye, he came into the league. It was basically, you run this way.
Yeah.
Because when he came in, he didn't know which way to run, so they put arrows on the field to show him which way to run.
Yeah. But still, it's going to be nice to see a better route tree from our receivers. It's going to be You know, if our defense and one scrimmage is getting 3 or 4 turnovers, you know, what can they do in a game?
Yeah, I know.
You know, that's what I love about it. That's what is getting me hyped up, because this defense is hyped up, and they're wanting to get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah.
Or like 2 out of the 3 or 4, they turned into offense.
Yeah, and you want that tenacity from a defense. I think that's what Zach Etheridge is bringing to our secondary.
Yeah.
You know, and Derek Mason being such a hands-on coach, getting out there with them,
Right.
I think is doing wonders for him. You know, Kevin Steele, 170-year-old self, can't get out there and play DB.
Right. But I ain't taking nothing away because Kevin Steele's defense at Auburn
Was phenomenal.
And it's like, here the last couple of years, it's kind of started tailing off a little bit, you know. But
that's
it was
what he
still
came
top
from.
5 in the SEC.
Yeah.
And this past year, I think it was just lack of a big man up front on the defensive line. Or we'd have had one of the best defenses
Yeah.
in the nation. We didn't have that big Derek Brown
Yeah.
in the middle.
I love Daquan Newkirk, but he could not go toe-to-toe as a nose tackle or a interior D tackle. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was he didn't have the ability or if he was just too small.
Right.
Not everybody has Aaron Donald level talent.
Right. Well, yeah, there's 32 nose tackles in the game right now that don't have Aaron Donald level talent.
That man is 300 pounds. Pushing 300 pounds with a six-pack.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
Yeah, you and every other man alive.
I'm 315 with boobs, so you know what I'm saying.
Moves. Got your moves, man.
But, you know, off my boobs and back to football, our defensive line is going to be a lot better this year, mainly because of depth. Maybe we don't have the Derek Brown D tackle.
Right.
But I think it'll work together.
Yeah, it has to.
And now we're seeing eye to eye again.
Yeah.
I just think our defense with a D-line coach young enough with the innovation and coming from the NFL, coaching guys like a DJ Reader in Cincinnati, I believe he coached DJ Reader and Geno Atkins. Even though Geno Atkins was older, learning from them and him teaching them, I think is going to do great because Cincinnati did have a solid D-line last year.
Yeah.
But I think that's really going to help our D-line be more together, and you know, Schmetting and Derek Mason helping with the linebackers, and obviously Mason and Etheridge going with the DBs. I'm out of freaking breath. I think it's just going to be so well put together.
Yeah. Well, quit getting so excited. We still got some months before football season gets here. I can't agree with you more, and I think to flip over to the offensive side, you know, I've been reading we're getting some offensive linemen interested. You know, Wilfred is going out there. He's putting the work in, talking to these recruits and getting them excited about, you know, what Auburn has to offer. I think once the season starts and these offensive linemen start seeing what Wilfred can do, what Auburn is doing on the offensive side, I think it will pick up. Yeah, I know I read a lot of comments on other articles and on some of the other pages I follow on YouTube that you know, every offensive lineman that they're going after is a 3-star. I don't care what star it is.
Yeah, it doesn't really
You know,
matter.
but they're going after 4 stars. You know, but you know, it just so happens right now the 3 stars are the ones that are, you know, have high interest in coming to Auburn right now, which is fine. I don't care. You can be a 3-star as long as you develop and you play like a 5-star.
Now, I'm not trying to disrespect Cyrus Quanzo, but he is evidence. One of the best offensive line recruits
Yeah.
to ever come play football. And he's evidence that it doesn't always work out. And who's the guy that we picked up that was a 5-star tackle?
Calvin Ashley.
Yeah, he ended up not working.
Yeah, he wound up transferring.
FAU, something like that?
I forget. Maybe he transferred back home to Maryland. I forget. But
it's about the coaching, not always the play.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter what star you are coming into college. It's all about developing the player and getting the best out of them. You know, I mean, I go back to this all the time, and there's a reason Alabama is on the top of the mountain and hadn't fell off yet.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Jacobs, one of the better running backs in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And he was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school.
Yeah. Straight out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They stole him
Yeah.
from Oklahoma, who wasn't even looking at him. Yeah, Skip Bayless knows that pain.
Yeah. And he never was a starter at Alabama.
Yeah.
Never was a starter. He always come off the bench.
Yeah, but he was that change of pace, not necessarily change of pace, like catching the ball and all that. He just came in and he changed the dynamic of the game when he was
Yeah, because he hit the hole hard as hell, and when he hit the hole, he was wide open.
Yeah, he ran with his freaking head on fire. That's why Nick Saban loved him so much.
Yeah.
That's why the Raiders picked him first round, John Gruden building that place back up.
You know, I mean, that's like Daniel Thomas for Auburn. I mean, he was a 2-star recruit coming out of, I believe it was Robert E. Lee High School in Montgomery.
Something like it.
Yeah, and he's going to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he's already in the NFL.
He might be.
I ended up picking him up in Madden, put him in as my sub linebacker, kid dominated.
But, you know, that's the star power, it looks good on signing day. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, it looks good on signing day. You still have to get the kids in there and develop them. And I understand somebody in the comments is going to be like, yeah, but you got less to develop if it's 5-star. Sometimes no. Sometimes, you know.
Look at Hunter Bryce. He went to Clemson, got his job stolen by Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, you pick a kid and he just don't fit.
Yeah. Look at Alabama. Mac Jones, 3-star. Ben Roethlisberger coming out of high school, 3-star. It doesn't really matter that much. Josh Allen, really great kid, really great football player, 3-star. Aaron Rodgers coming out of high school, no star, JUCO.
Yeah.
It's not always about the stars.
Well, I mean, you know, you also got to look at Mahomes went to Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think he was like 3-star. Baker Mayfield walked on twice.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
You know, I mean, it just, I don't know. I feel like I'm just beating on this horse. But
Keep beating it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about the star power. You know, I mean, Auburn missed out. So far, they've missed out on Emmanuel Henderson. I mean, they still got a long time before National Signing Day or even the early signing period. You know, they could, but if he don't come, he don't come. It's not the end of the world. You know, I just read, you know, before we did this, that they're looking at a kid in Virginia, number 10 running back in the nation. He's a 4-star kid, you know, and he was excited to get an offer from Auburn.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would rather have the 4 and the 3 and the 2 or whatever star power they are. But I want them to be excited about being at Auburn.
Byron Cowart is the main
yes.
thing we can show. He came here
because of Muschamp.
And he knew Muschamp was just going to up and leave. And Byron Cowart, we met him, he didn't even look excited at A-Day.
Yeah.
I still got my hat signed by him because
I mean, the dude was huge.
Massive.
He had all the physical tools, but he couldn't. Coach Garner, he's hard on his players,
yeah.
and he couldn't take the hard coaching.
And I'm not mad at Byron Carter.
No.
You know, he ended up in the league. He's on the league on the Patriots right now, being coached by Bill freaking Belichick.
And he's getting paid to play.
Yeah, and he's a rotational guy, and he's not bad or anything, but he just didn't want to be here, and that's why people like that get their job taken.
Yeah.
Mac Jones beat out Bryce Young 5-star.
Well, I don't really say he beat him out. I mean, last year they really didn't have, a spring. Bryce Young didn't have a lot of time to learn the offense.
But if Mac Jones came out and played like total garbage, he'd have got his job taken like that. Nick Saban don't play that.
All right, I agree with you. I'm not high on Bryce Young. I really don't think it's going to be that good.
We're all fans, man. I mocked Mac Jones after he just dominated us. So our opinion don't really matter that much. But
it is what it is.
you want
I don't see what everybody was oohing and ahhing over Bryce Young.
But a lot of people think the same thing about Demetrius Davis.
Yeah, they do, and that's fine. I'm not trying to hate on him because he's at Alabama. He could have went to USC, and I don't see it.
Yeah, and I think he made a great decision going to Alabama. But Sark's gone. But Bill O'Brien, as much as you hate him as a GM and as a coach, that man can run an offense.
He always had a good offense at Houston.
Except for last year. But, man.
I don't know, his quarterback was over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's a beast.
But, I'm sure that Coach Harsin feels the same exact way. He had Doug Martin 2-star, J.J. like 3-star. The guy who's the backup running back to Derrick Henry, I think he was like 2-star.
Yeah.
But so Coach Harsin, I feel like Bo Nix, you play like total garbage first game, he's gonna get his job taken. Coach Harsin seems like the guy. He's gonna play the best guy, don't matter who it is.
Yeah.
And Gus just wasn't that way.
No, Gus had his picks. A little side note: Boise State's got a tight end in this draft. Doesn't do anything great, but does everything good. I mean, somebody gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
He's like 6'5". I forget his name. He's like 6'5", 240, 250.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Boise State tight end in the draft.